Aloha Planet citizens, this is Cindy, and we are back talking about land sea connections and smart, fun ways to make a difference on our Earth, our planet Earth, our shared home. And today I am here at University of Hawaii in the SOEST section, and we are speaking with Dr. Chip Fletcher. He will be explaining to us the concept of our being in a third industrial revolution and what those components are. And Chip, if you wouldn't mind introducing yourself and just let us know what you do here before we start.
Sure. Thank you. So I am a professor of earth sciences, and I'm also associate dean here in SOEST, which is the School of Ocean and Earth Science and Technology at the University of Hawaii at Manoa. There are 4 exciting developments in the last several months that I'd like to briefly describe. The first is the concept of a third industrial revolution that we are in the midst of, proposed by the global economist Jeremy Rifkin. You can find a number of YouTube videos where he presents his idea of the sharing economy. The element of the sharing economy that I find most exciting with regard to climate change is the Internet of Things. The Internet of Things is where microgrids, which are small neighborhoods of shared power, and the power comes from renewable sources such as wind and solar. The Internet allows for the objects that are digitized, such as your phone, and now we're finding more and more appliances digitized, refrigerators, microwaves. Many of us have batteries in our homes, large storage facilities for electricity, and our cars are becoming more and more electric.
So would this be an example of if you have one of those homes that are set up to where you're on vacation and you can use your iPhone to turn on the lights in your house, turn off the lights in your house? Is it that type of use of technology where rather than just to improve one's individual life, that can be a shared, it can be moved into a shared realm of smaller economies?
That's part of the idea, but the Internet of Things is where all of these digitized objects are communicating with each other through almost AI, artificial intelligence, to figure out where is the best place to store electricity, where is the best place to produce electricity or release electricity during the course of the day and night. The advantage here is that you get the maximum amount of efficiency. You can reduce our use of power by maximizing the efficiency of all of our appliances and the exchange of electricity between them. So this is one aspect of the sharing economy. The other aspect is how we are all sharing songs and thoughts and blogs and recipes, and of course all this is related to the creation of the Internet. But Rifkin advances this idea as a third industrial revolution, and what's exciting to me is that microgrids and the Internet of Things allow for new architectural designs. Buildings can become nerve centers. In urban settings, as we see the decline of automobile ownership and the rise of mass transit and the rise of shared transportation, buildings can be designed to be the local nerve centers for a microgrid area. Buildings can also be designed to maximize their own water production through catchment, their own power production through solar and wind energy, and even grow their own food through vertical gardens. So there's a whole architectural and engineering element to the sharing economy, which is transforming our urban areas.
Now, is this an example of what's happening in Japan? A couple of years ago, they had a farmers conference here in Honolulu, and there were a lot of people who came from international places, and a lot of people from California were here because they were talking about the drought and water and the future of food. And in that, Japan has a lot of indoor growing, and they were talking about their water efficiency and how they were, I think it was sonicating. They were actually adding more bubbles into each of the water molecules, and that was causing their like lettuce to be 3 times larger and more nutrient rich, because they were able to get more through, I don't know if it's a molecule of water, or basically each droplet, they were able to put extra bubbles in there to take it in. But it seemed to me that it was a closed system that they were describing, and they were looking at water conservation and how you'd be growing food with less. Is that an example of maybe a vertical farming water usage that this might be referring to?
Yeah, so that's an example of how growing food in a controlled environment can be improved because you have total control of all elements of the food production. And that takes me to the second point that I've grown excited about.
Aloha, stay tuned and for part 2 of 4 with Dr. Chip Fletcher of University of Hawaii at Manoa, SOEST department. He is the associate dean and also professor. We will be attaching links below this video podcast of the first 6 minutes of this interview, where you will find Jeremy Rifkin links to explanations of his introduction to the third industrial revolution. And also he has a previous book about empathy, which I felt that the animated explanation of shifting our mindsets to truly understand how when we act local, it can impact globally. So that phrase, or that saying, act local, think global, bringing it to life. All right, in another couple days, you'll see part 2.